Good afternoon, Adil. Welcome on the broadcast. Your take, Adil. We've heard the Prime Minister, we heard the Finance Minister. It's almost like work in progress. Everything is done and dusted. What is it that stands out for you in this budget?
Let me focus on what they spoke about in the budget on the digital economy, because that's really interesting for Startup India and all the entrepreneurs here. So the Finance Minister said that digital public infrastructure, which is Aadhaar, UPI, video KYC, that is the new factor of production. This is a big statement, right? When we think of factors of production, we think of capital, we think of labor, but right now, right, we're thinking of digital infra and giving it that status. I was very excited to hear about 50-year zero interest to low interest corpus of 1 lakh crore for innovation and sunrise. So how will this scheme work, right? Because 1 lakh crore for Indian startups is a big allocation, and a lot of entrepreneurs would rather take a 50-year interest-free loan than even take equity from private equity investors. So how will this scheme help drive more entrepreneurship in India? And lastly, right, we today have the opportunity to take leadership in sectors like artificial intelligence. The world is starting to, and the economy is starting to change. If we can really invest and build and keep our lead in digital public infra, I think the digital economy could take India places over the next 10 to 20 years.
Okay. The Prime Minister, was speaking about how there is also a separate corpus now which has been kept aside for interest-free loans going up to 50 years. Are you seeing, if I couple that statement of the Prime Minister with what the Finance Minister had said in her budget speech, where she said that we'll put out a proper blueprint when we come back to power in July till 2047, are you seeing the beginning of something new here, where what was missing in an Indian ecosystem, focus on R&D, focus on deep tech innovation, are you seeing the building blocks of that happening now in front of us?
I definitely see that, right? Because today we're a country wherein we're leading the world in building some of this public infra. Now, Aadhaar is now very stable. We have account aggregator, DigiLocker. DigiLocker, in fact, has 180 million Indian citizens who are accessing their driver's license, their PAN card, and very soon they'll be accessing income tax documents via DigiLocker too. 200 million Indians, by the way, which is a large amount. So now, right, now that the building blocks are there, can this help us build leadership in artificial intelligence? I think the thought process has started, saying that clearly the engineering talent, the entrepreneurship is there. Can we create our own capital corpus? Without having to depend on other people or other countries? Can we take all the data that's being generated securely anonymized and create a public infra for artificial intelligence, right? It's really exciting that all of this is being covered in such a short interim budget speech, right? That digital economy, digital infrastructure is mentioned so many times is very heartening for this sector.
Okay, going forward, if I was to ask you to maybe tell our viewers about two specific things, because how very, in an ironical twist, a cruel twist, I would say, that just last night we saw what happened to Paytm. In the morning, literally on the eve of, the budget, the Paytm, the RBI came up with its own circular against Paytm. Today it has hit, the lowest circuit, 20% stock is down. In that sense, with the kind of concerns which are consistently being raised by those in the fintech spaces, would there be two specific suggestions, recommendations that you may still like to make, maybe for that July budget that Nirmala Sitharaman was speaking about?
Sure. See, from the startup sector, right, I think everyone realizes that we have to build for the long term. I think what the Reserve Bank of India is saying is that everything we do, we need to take the long view. So it's not enough if a particular sector, right, like unsecured lending, grows very, very fast in the short term, but is not sustainable over the long term. I think all of us need to take a view saying not what is best today, but are we putting in place the right infrastructure, the right governance, the right compliance for the next 10 to 20 years, because that's best for the Indian economy. I think from the startup industry, there are a couple of things we're hoping for in the July budget. So one is on the sale of ESOPs in private companies. I think we're asking for parity in long-term capital gains. So currently, long-term capital gains for private and public shares are treated differently. So given that a lot of ESOP holders are young, are building wealth through that model, can we give them parity in terms of long-term capital gains? The second right is a double down in digital public infra. Now we are spending 11.1 crores in building infrastructure capex, right? Can we make sure that there is enough within this pool being allocated to digital infra? You know, how do we create and make use of the immense skill set, the immense talent to become a world leader in cutting edge technologies in fintech and artificial intelligence, and how policies like digital privacy, Digital India Act, self-regulatory organizations for fintech, how can policies, right, enable both growth while protecting consumer interest?
Okay. All right. Thanks very much, Adil, for your thoughts. Let me bring in an
From breaking news, detailed analysis, in-depth interviews and explainers, follow the Times of India. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like our videos and hit the bell icon to stay updated with the latest.